Welcome to another episode, everyone. There in High Desert State Prison, a OG Swan blood member nearly rips the face off of a young blood because there in High Desert State Prison, the politics are serious and extremely intense. And should you step out of line and flout a rule or protocol, you will be dealt with immediately and with swift justice. And there, OG Swan blood member, let's call him Swansea, was a reputable member, still is an extremely reputable member from Swans, but really just as a blood in general. He had been locked up at this time for over 20 years and had immense rank in his section. He was indeed connected under paperwork, if you will, part of one of the blood organizations, very structured there in prison. I won't get into which organization that he belongs to, and I will not say his name, as I am still in communication with this individual, and he is indeed home free now. He had life in prison. And for this reason, this individual young blood perhaps thought that he could play with him, that he would not be attacked because Swansea had life in prison and was trying desperately to get home. Swansea worked in the kitchen there in High Desert State Prison. I spoke about him before, and I may have even mentioned his name back in those days when I spoke about him. And he used to sell sandwiches, ham and cheese sandwiches. He used to fry them there on the grill in the kitchen, along and toast with the toasted bread. And this was a real treat there in prison. And he would sell these sandwiches for a very high price. And Swansea was serious about collecting his money for these damn sandwiches. I mean, if you did not pay, hell, there would be hell to pay if you didn't pay for these sandwiches. I mean, he cherished these sandwiches more than he did his own sack. He had a sack too, but he would come in the game and then get out of it. When he thought the feds were hot on his trail, he would disappear from the game and not sell anything, not push anything other than his sandwiches, because he was hell-bent. He used to say all the time, I'm going home, bro. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to beat this. He didn't win on appeal. He was just saying he going to convince the parole board eventually to let him out. And he did. He's home. He had a sack as well. And one day, he was getting into it with an individual there. Now, young blood, I forget where he was from, but he was a part of their faction, a part of the section. And it's rare to see bloods bashing each other's faces there on a level 4 yard. It rarely happens. These individuals tend to stick together. They have a propensity to form a pack and stand solid with one another and go against whomever else may try to get in their way. Rarely will you see them injuring one another unless the individual did something foul, he's under paperwork, he's a snitch, a rat, a chomo. If he likes cheese, then they're going to bash his head in. Other than that, it's rare that this happens. Nevertheless, Swansea is out there on the yard, and he's telling this one individual who's a Crip, he's asking about his money. Where is my money for these sandwiches? Where's my money? You owe me X amount of dollars. Now, the Crip dude was a big dude. Apparently, he had been getting boatloads of these toasted sandwiches from Swansea for some time, and he done ran up a huge debt for these cheese and ham greasy sandwiches. And Swansea, he's not playing. He wants his money. If you owe him for one sandwich, he's knocking on your door. And he has a lot of money, but that doesn't matter. This individual is very parsimonious, not frugal. He wants what's coming to him. He slaves over that stove and fries those sandwiches, and damn it, he wants to get paid. And so he's asking this Crip individual, where is his bread? No pun intended. And young blood, who had been on the yard for some time, but I don't believe that he has digested the politics yet as it relates to a yard like High Desert State Prison. This individual is young, 23, 24 years old. He's been on the yard just for a few months, but he's ingratiated himself with his faction, and he supported his car. But I don't think he understands that Swansea is as high up the food chain as you can go. The buck stops with him. I think he misread him. He misread Swansea, did Youngblood, because Swansea is around pushing those sandwiches. And he has lost respect for him and doesn't think that he's all that, but he is. When Swansea is asking this individual for his money about these sandwiches that he owes him for, the corpulent Crip. Youngblood chimes in. Man, why you tripping on them sandwiches, man? You got a whole sack and you worried about some little sandwiches, man. Now, this is a blood member, Youngblood, getting at an OG blood of the highest rank like this. They're on a level 4 180 yard in front of an opposition, in front of a Crip, and really in defense of a Crip, as a blood is sitting here checking a Crip, if you will. Hey, man, where's my money? Give me my money. Another blood chimes in and telling an OG blood that he's taking it too far. He thinks that it's funny because Youngblood had a propensity to laugh and crack jokes around there on the yard. People had already told him to tone it down, that he was not in juvenile hall, that it's not a good look to be running around this type of yard laughing with a smile on your face all of the time. This is not a joke. You can lose your life here, bro. This is serious. He refused to tone it down, so his days were ultimately numbered anyway. Swansea said, "What you say, blood? Blood, don't ever get in my business when I'm conducting business about my money. Don't ever chime in, bro, especially in front of another group, homie. You in violation. Do you know that?" And Youngblood like, man, how am I in violation? Because I'm telling you about these sandwiches, man. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. You taking it too far over these sandwiches. So Swansea telling, bro, I'm not playing with you. This is not a game, homie. You better shut up right now while you still have a chance. But Youngblood inexplicably continued on, thinking somehow that things over this way were sweet, but they are not. And clearly, it was in that moment right then and there that Swansea had came to the conclusion that he was going to teach Youngblood a lesson. He made the autonomous decision that this individual had to go, as bad as Swansea wanted out of prison and had been keeping his nose clean. He decided that this was just too much to bear. This individual had made a mockery of him in front of other individuals right there on the yard, including in front of a Crip. He had to go, and really, he had taken it so personal that he wanted to be the one to remove him. He could have told anyone to do it. He could have got any one of those dudes to remove this individual, stab him and remove him. He had that much power. But he wanted to do it himself. And so, with his own agency and under his own volition, he made the decision that he was going to pop off with the burner on Youngblood later on that night, right there in the day room, without warning and without hesitation. Youngblood thinking that things are still a joke because Swansea made his way over there under the stairs, to block himself from the gun tower or something. Get under the stairs, I'm looking at him. He over there fumbling. I know what's up. It's a wrap. But Youngblood, just unaware of his surroundings, has not caught heed to what's going on, that his life is in imminent danger. Swansea calls Youngblood over under the stairs. Youngblood, check it out. Check it out real quick, blood. He waltzing over there smiling like, what's up, big homie? Man, you ain't tripping on that we were talking about earlier, right? Whoa. He's still smiling and laughing and joking, thinking that it's a game. And I'm thinking to myself, this smile is quickly about to turn into a bloody frown. And lo and behold, as he approaches, Swansea is not saying anything. He's just telling him, come here. He's gesturing to keep on walking towards me. Get yourself in arm's distance. And he did. And Swansea came out of nowhere. Quick draw McGraw with the blicky and hit him. Pow! Right here about the neck area. And Youngblood basically started howling right then and there, trying to get away from the stairs. But Swansea wasn't having it. He was well versed in this area. Grabbed him, got him down on the ground, and hit him a couple more times right there in the face. Man, don't you ever, bam, he talking to him as he hit him. I said, oh man, this is bad. What did you think was going to happen, man? This is not a game. Cracked on him, bam, bam, as he's talking to him. Youngblood's face is bloody, bleeding profusely. He stopped hollering and just trying to block and putting his hands up. And Swansea, he let him live. Told him, don't you ever disrespect me like that again, bro, ever. And basically just walked away and left him there bloody. Walked away some and didn't look back and told him, get up. Because he don't want the police to see him. Man, get up, get up. You all right, get up. You know, I ain't do nothing to you like that. You're saying, man, I could have finished you. I could have deleted you. All I did was pop off on you a couple times in your face, put a couple of puncture wounds in your face and your neck area. But I wasn't trying to delete you, because if I wanted to, I could have. But I had to send you a message and teach you a lesson. Don't ever disrespect me like that in front of the company. It's the wrong thing to do. That was it. Shout out to the OG homie, Big Swansea. That's not his name, but shout out to him. I know he watches sometimes. And he's out and doing well. He did a lot of time in prison, and that's just how it is. You have to be careful, particularly when you're dealing with OGs there in prison. I know people on the street, they say they don't really respect the OGs anymore, and these young dudes run over them, and they run in the hoods now, and all of this sort of stuff. That's fine. Do not take that mentality with you there in prison. The OGs in there are running everything, and they will stab you quickly, without hesitation, the moment that you disrespect any one of them. You have to be extremely careful. You don't have your gun in there. Your mettle is really going to be tested. You're on your own. Stay safe and stay free, people.